This may be one of the, if not the most important chop and drop trees in all of permaculture.
Howdy doodle do, doodle doodle do. Howdy doodle doodle do.
Howdy everybody. I'm back here in front of the mangosteen tree where we dug what I like to call the crop circle to drought-proof this mangosteen tree. I'm back here just for a minute because I'm going to put more compost in the adia here. I'll do this several more times before the dry season comes so that we get a nice mat of compost in there that's moist, has retained, sucked up a lot of water. So let's go ahead. So this amounts to 20 gallons of compost that we put here so far, and like I said, I'll come back up here quite a few more times during these months to add even more compost so that we get a really good mat. Okay, let's move on to what I wanted to talk about today. Okay, right next to the mangosteen tree, which is over here, is another tree right here called, what we call here in Nicaragua, Madero Negro. Madero Negro. The scientific name of this tree is Gliricidia sepens. Gliricidia sepens. And this may be one of the, if not the most important chop and drop trees in all of permaculture. Now I know you've probably heard of Lucana, but actually this tree is even, in my opinion, is even better than Lucana. This is a nitrogen fixer, so it fixes nitrogen. When you pollard this tree, which means to cut the upper branches. We're not going to cut it all the way down to the bottom. We're just going to cut the upper branches. I've cut a couple here already that you may be able to see. I've already cut a couple so you can see it. This is called pollarding. And when you pollard that, the root system, which is down below, which has the nodules of nitrogen fixing bacteria and the accumulated nitrogen, the roots, when you pollard, the roots naturally prune themselves back because you don't need that much root. So what happens when they prune that back? They release the nitrogen into the soil. So this is a very important tree. So I'm going to pollard this tree, what we call the chopping and dropping. Now, what I like to do is look for a node here. Look for a node where I could see something growing out. So I know that if I cut up above here, for example, this little branch is gonna grow out, and that's what I want. Okay, so we've pollarded it. It's all about the same height. So these branches are going to grow back. They're going to grow back thicker. It's going to grow back thicker than it was here now. This tree is about 2 years old. And so there'll be actually more to pollard next season. Now you do this Jeff Lawton, my permaculture mentor, advises that you do this when the rate of rainfall exceeds the rate of evaporation. Now, Jeff never explained to me, or the people in our class, how you determine that. but we're getting a lot of rain now, so I'm assuming that we're in that time. So it's when the rate of rainfall exceeds the rate of evaporation, and that helps the tree to come back very quickly and heal itself from the cuts that we've made here. Now I want to point something out, because this is very important. If you look here, you can see that the new branches here are all green, which means that they're full of nitrogen, even the branches. Not just the leaves, but the branches. Now I can take this, I've done it, take this down to the wood chipper, put them in a pile, and actually make very, very good high quality compost with just Gliricidia sepens material. Nothing else. I get the carbon that I need, I get the nitrogen that I need. I actually get a little more nitrogen than I need, but that's okay. I've actually made compost that way. I've used that compost to grow vegetables, only with soil made, or compost soil made from Gliricidia sepens. Now you have to add a little bit of sharp sand to it to change the texture a little bit, but beyond that, this is an extremely powerful tool. Now, as I said before, Gliricidia sepium and leucaena are two very popular trees in permaculture because they're so good for things like chop and drop, and they're nitrogen fixers. They're really good. But what makes them so good? Well, first, as I mentioned, this tree is only about 2.5 years old. Look how big it is. They grow very fast. Leucaena and Gliricidia grow very fast. That's one of the things that makes them good. They can be pollarded multiple times without really affecting the tree. So some trees, you try to pollard a tree like this, the tree will die. That doesn't happen with Gliricidia, it doesn't happen with leucaena. So it's very versatile in that respect. As I said, you can make unbelievable compost just with this. And then finally, what happens with, I'll speak about Gliricidia, but the same thing works for leucaena. When you pollard these trees, you want to pollard them around head level. And the other extreme is to compost, which is cutting it way down at the level of the soil. Now, I don't recommend doing that. The problem with composting is that you don't know how the tree is going to grow back. This one, for example, is going to grow. It's going to fill out more. And what's that going to do? In the summer months, when we need shade, this is going to provide a lot more shade because it's going to fill out and spread out the things that have been pollarded and then grown back. So that's the other major benefit of pollarding a tree, and particularly a tree like Gliricidia that is such a powerful nitrogen fixer and such a great tree to work with. That's it. If you find these videos to be useful and beneficial to you, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. Click the subscribe if you like the content. And I'll see you in the next video.